Hello, so this is about the Americans with Disabilities Act. The American with Disabilities Act was signed into law on July 26, 1990. Its overall purpose is to make American society more accessible to people with disabilities. In 2008, the ADA Amendments Act was passed. Its purpose is to broaden the definition of disability, which had been narrowed by the U.S. Supreme Court decisions. The ADA is divided into 5 titles. So Title I is employment. Title I requires is covered employers to provide reasonable accommodations for applicants and employees with disabilities, and prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability in all aspects of employment. Reasonable accommodations includes, for example, restructuring jobs, making work sites and workstations accessible, modifying schedules, providing services such as interpreters, and modifying equipment and policies. Title I also regulates medical examinations and inquiries. Two, public services. Under Title II, public services, which include state and local government agencies, the National Railroad Passenger Corporation, and other community authorities, cannot deny services to people with disabilities or deny participation in programs or activities that are available to people without disabilities. In addition, public transportation systems, such as public transit buses, must be accessible to individuals with disabilities. Public accommodations is Title III, which include facilities such as restaurants, hotels, grocery stores, retail stores, as well as privately owned transportation systems. Title III requires that all new construction and modifications must be accessible to individuals with disabilities. For existing facilities, barriers to services must be removed if readily achievable. Telecommunications, Title IV. Telecommunications companies offering telephone services to the general public must have telephone relay services to individuals who telecommunication devices for the deaf or similar devices. And then Title V is just miscellaneous. This title includes a provision prohibiting either coercion or threatening or retaliating against individuals with disabilities or those attempting to aid people with disabilities in asserting their rights under the ADA. The ADA's protection applies primarily but not exclusively to individuals who meet the ADA's definition of disability. An individual has a disability if he or she has a physical or mental impairment that sustainably limits one or more of his or her major life activities. 2, he or she has a record of such an impairment. Or 3, he or she is regarded as having such an impairment. As mentioned above, the ADA's definition of disability was broadened by the ADAAA, which went into effect on January 2009. Other individuals who are protected in certain circumstances include 1, those such as parents who have association with individuals known to have a disability. 2, those who are coerced or subjected to retaliation for assisting people with disabilities in asserting their rights under the ADA. While the employment provisions of the ADA apply to employers of 15 employees or more, its public accommodations provisions apply to all sizes of businesses, regardless of number of employees. State and local governments are covered regardless of size. The ADA underpins and includes all of the ODEP's work through policy development outreach and education, and technical assistance. ODEP assists both workers with disabilities and employers in understanding their protections and obligations under the law. Through its job accommodation network, ODEP provides an extensive technical assistance on the reasonable accommodation provision of the ADA. Covered employees are required to provide reasonable accommodations to qualified job applicants and employees with disabilities. Job accommodation networks is defined as any change or adjustment to a work environment or the way things are usually done that would allow an individual with a disability to apply for a job, perform job functions, or enjoy equal access to benefits available to other employees. They provide expert guidance, training, and resources to individuals and employers on all aspects of accommodations at no cost.